Where are the games at?
Where are the games?
Where are the games?
It's dry. Where are the games?
I kind of keep waiting for them to do their thing.
I don't see anything.
These are easily the most pointless upgrades I've ever experienced.
What is the point of buying a console if you can just make a PC?
If you're gonna have everything on a PC, why not just buy a PC and then console?
Where are the games? Where are the deadlines? Where are the projects? Where are the teases? Like, it feels weird that it's like,
Why buy consoles?
Now comes the fun part. We get to see how the development community takes advantage of that feature set.
Here we are back again with talking about physical games with Nintendo and everything, and the usual crazinesses that ours. I also want to thank everybody who watched the videos, couple past videos I've done. Of course, they didn't get them on views, not surprising, but I was talking about nice stuff, good vibes. Because again, it's not all about the negativity. I try not to talk about the negativity, but I talk about what topics float the boat comes up right now. And I did a Generation End video. I just did good videos to say, hey, Nintendo does something, it creates a generation, and that's how they're gonna keep on going as long as they can. Can Nintendo fall as a company? Are they gonna be the game company 10, 20 years from now? Maybe not, but hey, they at least seed the ground, sow the seeds of the ground for the new generation to just love games. And that's all it is. Like I said, I didn't say Nintendo games, I said just love games. All right, but we're gonna go into this the usual key cards. Here we go again. Physical. So hopefully I can get through this. I want to do 2 videos back to back talking about this. I watched one video which is Nintendo Life. So if I don't get to it, go to Nintendo Life, talk about physical videos. The video it started off like I was gonna like oh this is gonna be one of the pain in the ass, but it turned out to be at the end. He had issues. He did said PlayStation is doing this, Xbox been doing this, and we've not done stuff. And he also said, hey, if we let us pay the extra money, and Xeon, I think that's Xeon at Nintendo Life, that's what I've said in my videos, and that's why I said, yeah, I hate about the key cards. Would you all spend extra money to get all the games on the cards? I'll tell you this right now, I would. Xeon said in his video he would. If you want physical game and all the games on the card, or at least majority of games on the card that's not broken, and you could play without, okay, you're gonna be updates all the time, but play, have fun with, would you pay the physical tax? I would. So that means I don't got to depend on the internet. I would. Now, am I against going against key cards that I own by key cards? My sister already bought 2 key cards already, Street Fighter 6 and Yakuza. And she's gonna buy the next other Yakuza, which will be a key card by Sega. Funny enough, this video is talking about Persona 3, it is a key card. Well, tell Sega, hey, put it on the damn thing. That's the answer. Email them, tweet them, do all that stuff. Hey, Sega, put it on the thing. We'll pay the card tax. Or tell Sega, hey, have the key cards for some people, but for those who want physical, I'll pay for the extra money, and that should be the way. It's not Nintendo got to do all that stuff. They're putting their games on their console. And I've looked into this, and I've said it before too. If that's the case, why don't you just buy a Nintendo Switch a cartridge, and just call and say, hey, it works in your Switch too. It's so simple. That one, this is for the first time. This is the corporations, and it's like most of the people. It's all funny that they argue against the corporations, but then they don't want to fight. And then when the solution is the corporations, they don't want to fight that. But they want to bitch to the corporations when that corporate greed, corporate this. But then you still spend the money for the greedy part. But the part that could help you what you want, you don't want to fix it. This is why gamers are what they are, and that's why I laugh at this situation. It's too funny for me. It literally is. So let's hear this crap. So again, if I don't get to that video, it is Nintendo Live. Xeon did a video, physical games. See, that's what it is.
I am so frustrated with Nintendo. Hey guys.
Why? All their games are on all their physical games are on a cartridge. if you saying you keep on getting key cards. But anyway, let's go. Let's hear what you say, sir.
Cyanide here, and today we're going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase that happened the other day. It was a pretty good showcase, all things considered, but kind of like with the initial Nintendo Switch 2 Direct that we had a couple months ago, there was a weird aftertaste when all these games got announced, and that aftertaste was in the form of game key cards. Now, I've made 2 videos about this already. This is the third, but I still think it's annoying, and I feel like I still need to keep talking about it because Nintendo keeps getting away with it. Now, I did mention towards the end of those previous videos that, hey, this is probably one of those things where they probably have acknowledged the backlash from game key cards already, and they're probably not going to be able to do much about it until later on. I think game key cards are going to be here to stay for another year or so. But it is insane I think with the amount of games that got announced during this partner showcase that are game key cards, and it's specifically for games that people have wanted to see, and it's so annoying. But anyways, I want to.
So listen carefully. This is not Nintendo's games. These are third parties. But Nintendo's a problem. Again, I don't understand that. Whatever. But let's continue.
To go through the list of some of the notable games that got announced during the partner showcase and talk about why it's kind of stupid that they are a game key card. To start off, one of the more notable games that I thought kind of interested me, a game that I kind of wanted to play as a non-Dragon Ball fan, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Game key card. By the way, just a reminder before I get in.
I'm not surprised it's a game key card. What will make you think it's not? Of course, it's a game key card. I figured that out. Let me see if I could try something here. I want to try it and see and do, because it's just like what I'm doing for Shadow Labyrinth. I'm buying a Switch 1 version because it works better. There's something's weird with the Switch 2 version, so I'm buying the Switch 1 version. Oh my goodness. Can you believe I'm buying original Switch 1 for my Switch 2 because it automatically updates? Flipping hell. I swear. It's like you got options and y'all don't want to use them. It's weird. Let's go to the official blah blah blah. Switch. That's like standard edition. DLC 1 and 2. They wanted to have it all things anyway, so can't say nothing. Okay, so if I go back to the because that is literally now what we're doing right now is basically figuring out if there's things have the situation. So let me just see something here. Well, what you know? I was correct. So, yeah. So the original game, so on the Switch 1, is physical. So on the Switch 1 is physical. So I got a question. Why not buy physical? If key card's your problem, why don't you buy the game physical? Oh my goodness, you can't make this shit up. You can't. So it's physical on a Switch 1. Friggin' hell, people, why don't you do that? Yes, so you have physical for Switch 1. And then a Switch key card on Switch 2. Then get a Switch 1 version, dude.
Ranting, of course. So Nintendo has offered only two sizes to these third-party publishers. You have the 64GB cards, and then you have game key cards. There is no other option. And upon doing a quick Google search,
yes, so get a physical. Let's see if you're saying that. Let's see if you're going to say you get physical.
Sparking Zero is around 30GB. So if they did actually put this game on a normal game card, this game would be around 30GB, half of what the game card is offering. So yeah, I definitely see why they opted for a game key card, and why would you spend the extra money for the larger card. And again, it's so funny to think about because Nintendo put their games like Mario Kart World, which is like 25 gigs, and that's like a third of what the card is offering.
Because it's Nintendo's games. Are people stupid or are they stupid? They're stupid.
And I still think it's bad funny that, you know, outside of Nintendo, unless you're first party in-house publishing from Nintendo, yeah, why would you put your medium to like decent size?
Well, why Marvelous did it? Marvelous put their full games on the cartridge. Why some indie games? Some indie games have put their full game on the big cartridge, as you said. Because they know what their fans wanted. So why don't you tell a third-party publisher to do the exact same thing?
Card onto these 64GB cards. It makes zero sense. But yeah, I still kind of want to try Sparking Zero, even though I've seen a lot of like images showing that it doesn't look as good as the other consoles. But I don't know, maybe. I've been kind of interested in Dragon Ball. I did watch the Broly movie recently, so maybe. Next up though, we got Plants vs. Zombies Replanted. Now this is a digital title, and honestly it's not really related to what I'm talking about, but I think it's kind of cool we're getting Plants vs. Zombies on the Switch soon. I just want to talk about it before we get into the more angrier stuff. But yeah, I think it's so cool. And it's so crazy. I was talking about this game and I was like, hey, I swear to God, if this game's not $20 for how old this game is. And then I look on the eShop and it is $20. So, wow. All right, but now we are going to get into a bit of a rant. Pac-Man World 2 Repack. Now, I have not played the original. I kind of want to. But needless to say, this game is old. It came out on the GameCube nearly 2 decades ago. This game is old. And the game is like 5 gigabytes, but it's still a game key card. Because obviously, why would you put a 5 gigabyte game onto a 64 gigabyte one? So in this case, I definitely do not blame the third-party developer for putting.
You don't blame the third-party developer, okay, for that. So you don't blame. Oh my God! And so you don't blame Nintendo because they give you. Oh, you can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up at all. You can't make this shit at all. Let me see. Pac-Man Return 2 is on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, all the stuff like that. So I got all that. Okay, so it's on all the consoles, right? So I got a question. Let's see here. Here we go again. Pac-Man 2. I'm just looking at it right now. Pac-Man 2 Repack, right, is $30 from Namco Bandai, and I'm on their website, and it's all in a cartridge. The original Switch. The Switch 2 is the key card. Buy the Switch 1 version. What is so damn hard? That is so easy to do. Again, Switch 1 version is there. Buy those.
Their game on the game key card because they have no other choice here. But interestingly enough though, it also is coming onto the Nintendo Switch 1, and as far as I'm aware, I don't see anything in regards to an upgrade pack. Now there are some other games that are also coming to the Switch 1 that will have one, more on that a little bit later. But yeah, if you wanted to get the Switch 1 version, you probably could. But again, I'm not seeing anything in regards to an upgrade pack. But feel free to tell me if I'm wrong in the comments about this. But yeah, Pac-Man World 2 Repack. Yeah, I might actually give the original a try now that this got announced. But yeah, really happy for all the Pac-Man fans. I mean, we don't get much nowadays, so I think it's cool. It's cool to get this.
Well, Shadow Labyrinth. but okay, got you. Maybe not your style, so I get it. But Shadow Rabbit is that.
Okay, now we are on the big one, Persona 3 Reload. Firstly, I must say, very happy to finally
not
have this
surprised
on the console.
that was
This
gonna
is a
happen.
very big game. A lot of
It
people
should have
say,
been there.
"Oh, this game isn't gonna come to the Switch. It can't run on the Switch." But now we have the Switch too, so there's no excuse. This game is definitely gonna be able to run on the Switch. I don't really see any purpose of going back to replay it on the Switch, but I am really happy for fans who've been waiting to play this game. And hey, the game is $60. I don't know how much Episode Igus is going to be when you do buy the game, but the game is notably $60 on the Switch too. So you can, if you want to, buy this version for a cheaper price compared to other platforms. But it's also a game key card. And normally I would be upset with Nintendo with this, but last I checked, Persona 3 Reload is around 50 gigabytes on every other platform. This is literally made for the 64 gigabyte cards.
There you go.
What
Okay,
are we
good.
doing, Sega? This is the most lazy,
Thank you.
insulting port job I have ever seen. Now, okay, maybe the
Thank
port job
you.
itself is also pretty good, but it's just the fact that it can totally fit on the card, and they just refuse to put it on there.
Put it on
because, yeah. Doubly interesting as well, because Sonic Crossworlds is
Exactly.
getting a Nintendo Switch 2 version that is fully on the card. So what are we doing here? I honestly, maybe I'm crazy. I feel like Persona 3 Reload would do...
So that's Sega. If Sonic Crossworlds is getting full game on the Switch 2 physically, what the hell this ain't is beyond me, and they could have. But again, I have no problem if they say, okay, is that let's do what do you call it? Spend a little bit more money.
a lot better if it was fully on the card. I feel like it would sell way more than Sonic Crossworlds. But yeah, I guess we just have to live in this reality. I guess that's just another big third-party game that I'm just not gonna buy on the Switch 2 because they just hate collectors for some reason. Oh well. And it's not really related as well. This is just more a palate cleanser. But we did get a trailer for Age of Imprisonment. This was the most nothing burger trailer I have ever seen. Honestly, I'm kind of wondering if this game is even going to be able to come out in 2025. For some reason, I have this weird feeling it's not going to come out this year. We keep getting like random tidbits of...
Why would you think that? Okay, whatever. I'm gonna leave it at that.
about it, but I feel like I still don't know anything about it, and I still don't
That's the
really
whole
care
point of
for
the
any
game.
of these characters outside of Zelda that we're going to be playing as in this game. I don't know.
Then
It's
you
cool
play
to see
Tears
more
of
of it.
Kingdom
It's cool
then.
to see the random like weapon construct weapons that you get to use in this game, but otherwise, yeah, Nintendo's just not doing a good job advertising this game. I'm going to be so real. Now, skipping ahead a bit towards the end, I'm going to be real. I wasn't really interested in anything else in this Direct. Admittedly, it's probably my fault for getting up super late past the Direct and just skimming through it.
That's kind of weird. No, I'll say this. Monster Hunter Stories 3, big game, Capcom. Are they going to do a key card? I guarantee they're going to do a key card, so that's just what it is, and that's what I'll play it on. If they have a Switch 1 version, that's all something like that, then yeah, but I think it's going to be a key card. I know them. And then Square Enix, we already know how Square is. Friggin' hell. They're going to do key cards. Elliot, look like it's a fun game. I won't get a key card. I'm not going to argue. It's annoying, but it is what it is. And the reason that people are like, oh man, key cards are bad because you don't own your game. I got you. But it's out of, you have two choices, the key card or the digital. And to be honest with you, both ways, if it's a digital game anyway, both ways it goes a certain way. So it's just like, So again, I get it.
But the last game really piqued my interest. Fans of the channel might know. I really like Octopath Traveler, and they announced a brand new Octopath Traveler in the form of Octopath Traveler 0. Now, admittedly, I feel like this is really soon, and honestly, I don't think I deserve this at all, but I will not complain to having a brand new Octopath Traveler to play with at the end of the year. I think that's really cool. What's not really cool is how they're going about dropping this game on the Switch 2. So they're going to have a Switch 1 version, which I was initially going to grab, but they're also going to have a Switch 2 version. But the reason I wasn't going to initially grab the Switch 1 version is because there's apparently not going to be an upgrade pack for the Switch 1 version to upgrade to the Switch 2 version. And you know, again,
That's
I get
on
it
the
from
third
Square
party.
Enix's end, and compared to Sega and
Wait, you get it for the Square Enix's end. Wait, hold on. They're not doing it, so that's their problem. That's not Nintendo's problem. See, oh my.
Especially for Persona 3 Reload, I definitely get the game is like 5 gigabytes. It's not the biggest game in the world, and I'm definitely not going to give it crap for that. But oh my goodness, not even an upgrade pack. I can't even avoid buying the game key card now if I want the Switch 2 enhancements. I have to suck it up and buy the Switch 2 game key card if I want to play the game in smooth high definition 60 frames, I imagine. That is insane to me. Are you kidding me?
It's turn-based.
Like, at
You don't
what
need
point do
60
I just say
frames.
screw it, I just buy the game digitally? I don't want...
It's a turn-based game. You don't need 60 frames per second. Oh my god, I swear, people. Buy the Switch 1 version, moron. Just buy that and be happy. What? It's gonna look good no matter what. But, oh man. I swear.
do that. I want to collect these games, but it's so annoying. Like, I don't really know how else to express how frustrated I am with Nintendo, and everyone on Twitter as well has also expressed their frustrations. But, like, what? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And we can't really do much until Nintendo offers more gigabyte card sizes. But until then, we just kind of have to deal with the consequences of this. And it's
not them up to offer. Tell the third parties that. They don't want to. You see, this is the part of. This is why I said, that's why I'm doing this Generation N. With the GameCube, third parties asked for Nintendo to create a way so their games don't get pirated. They came up with the GameCube little mini disc. And then people still bitched about it. Oh, no, I gotta get 2 games to put on my 2 games disc now, so I can play my game because it's whatever. Third party asked for it, consumers bitching for it. And the funny part about it, and again, I've proven this over and over again. Oh, PlayStation had double disc, had plenty of double disc games. They had 10 double disc games, major games, that people was like, oh, yeah, it was double disc games, so don't hit me with the bull crap. When third party asks for stuff and then Nintendo does it, then Nintendo gets the blame. And I wish they could just like whatever, but I get it. They're gonna have a physical version of the game. Buy the Switch 1 version, bro. That's what I'll do. I'll buy the Switch 1 version.
actually insane. And I get it too. I get it from the publisher's perspective as well. You want to be able to put something onto the store shelves. You don't want to just throw all these games onto the digital, eShop. Like, I get it. I do. I really, really do. But this is so anti-consumer. This is literally the middle.
It literally is anti-consumer, and I like it. Make up your. They gave you choices. You make your choice. I'm not a consumer. I'm a customer. Make your choice. The games you just put up there, I'll get the Switch 1 version. You gave me the choice, I'll go there. But it's not gonna be 60 frames per second. If the game is good, and it's not like lacking low down frame rates, I'm all right. I've enjoyed a lot of games on my Switch 1 where the game frame wasn't picture perfect, but still, the game was fun. That's the whole point. Number one reason I pick up a video game is for fun. Second reason is to escape. So there's some games that's like deep story driven and whatever and out there, but fun is number one, escapism is number two.
To the consumer. This is a W for everybody but the consumer, and it actually sucks. I hate how everything recently has been so anti-consumer. But yeah, that's my little rant.
That's what I
want. Let me know in
want.
the comments below if you guys agree or disagree. I'm always down to have a conversation down there, so let's get it going. Stay hydrated, stay cool, and I will see you all in another video.
As a customer, I'll just buy the Switch 1 version. Solve. Y'all want to bitch about that? Go ahead and bitch about it. Third parties is not gonna acquiesce if y'all are gonna do that. So that's all I'm saying to that regard. So I'm gonna let him tell life. I might interact with Levi because I watched the video. So my interactions, you heard what I've said. You know what I said anyway. But I'll do bits and bits here to break it up. So again, I'm using their content in that regard. But like I said, since I watched the video already, it comes full circle. And again, he gives an option where I've been saying all the time, and I'm good with that.
Hello everyone, Zian over here from Nintendo Life, and this is my cat Navi. She's feeling a little lonely today, so she's going to be sitting up on my desk and in my lap for the majority of this video. I love the hell out of Persona 3 Reload. When it came to Xbox and PlayStation last year, I put like 100 hours into it. I finished it in like 2 months.
Remember, there was a key disc. You gotta install them. You can't play the game straight out of the box. Funny how, again, people keep on forgetting that, but just remember that for the discussion. The key cards are not new. They've been around since 2012 on PlayStation and Xbox.
So that's like the most time I've ever put into a video game in that short amount of time. Right up to the very end, it was an incredible game, a lovely story. And it's why I'm such a firm advocate for it coming to Switch or Switch 2 so more people can experience the game. Now you may have heard the game is officially coming to Nintendo Switch 2. It was revealed in the latest Nintendo Direct. And you can even see in the fine text in the Direct, it's confirmed to be getting a physical release. I was thrilled to bits. But one detail that Atlus and Sega failed to mention in the latest Direct is that this physical Switch 2 version of the game is likely to be a game key release. Of course, it's a game. At least in Japan, it's confirmed for certain. Now, I probably don't need to bore you with what a game key release is. You've probably heard it ad nauseum from other outlets, lamenting the existence of them. But for those of you that are just tuning into this, game key releases don't contain any game data on the actual cartridge. It just gives you a license to the game, and then you can download it onto your console yourself. So if you're on a road trip and you stop by a Walmart and you pick up a Game Key Switch 2 game, you pop it in your console, you won't be able to play it. You'll have to wait until you get home to download it.
Are you interested in Lively's?
Wait until you get home to download it. Now, for some reason, I'm crazy, and I thought that things, as far as Game Key releases go, were starting to get better. I thought developers and publishers were starting to recognize that this is not a good idea. It's not a good way to release games to the public. Now, I did the math, and roughly 85% of third-party games available on Switch 2 are available as either game keys or, even worse, a code in a box. So far, you've got Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I did the math, and roughly 85% of...
Take a look at that. If I had my sound card, use my sound stuff, it'll be like, what? I'll be playing. What is that? What the is that? Key cards. Code in a box. Yeah, this is Nintendo's fault, all right. Code in the box is Nintendo's fault.
Third-party games available on Switch 2 are available as either game keys or, even worse, a code in a box. So far, you've got Cyberpunk 2077 and Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. Better yet, Marvelous took it one step further with Rune Factory, and they actually made it so that the physical Switch 2 cartridge also works in a Nintendo Switch 1. It contains both the Switch 1 version of the game and the upgrade pack for Switch 2, so if you pop this in either console, you don't need the internet to play it right out of the box. Now, whenever I have this game key discussion with friends, and it's actually quite often, most of them always bring up the fact that most modern games, whether it's discs or cartridges, they don't really come on the cartridge or the disc.
Exactly.
Anyways, you have to always download something. And while that is partially true, a lot of games have day one updates or later patches to fix bugs and things like that.
And
I was curious how many games from the past few years actually come fully intact on the cartridge or the disc. So I grabbed my entire stack of PlayStation 5 games, which is not that many, it's about 15 or 20 games, and I looked them all up on a website called doesitplay.org. Doesitplay.org. They have a community of people that will play through video games, and they'll let you know how complete they are actually on the cartridge or the disc at retail.
Yes.
All right, come here, girl. And I found a few games like Helldivers 2. This game needs an update in order to play, and it's an online game only anyways, so that makes sense. But then you have stuff like Immortals of Avium.
Of course it's online only. Are we surprised? Are we shocked? Are we shocked? I hope not.
Which is riddled with bugs. You can play it front to back, but it's apparently not a fun time. But then
you should be playing the game. It's a broken game. But again, gamers in there thinking.
You have all of these other games, which, yes, a lot of them do have day one updates. All of these games.
And all of them can play without installs. They have to install.
are front to back complete. You can play them start to finish without downloading anything. Yes, you do have to install a bunch of data to your console, but
Yes.
all of these games, the discs, will be fully playable in 20, 30, 40, 50 years, as long as the discs withstand the test of time. And that is my biggest concern here. I am the kind of person that still likes to go and sit in the other room and plug in some of my old consoles, my Nintendo 64, my PlayStation 1. I like to play Point Blank with a gun con. I want to boot up Final Fantasy X and play it on the PS2. And sure, maybe I'd like the option to be able to download these updates, but if it's not the biggest deal breaker, I don't think I'm going to be fussed to do it in the future. So to take this one step further, I went and grabbed all of my third-party Nintendo Switch games that have come out in the last since 2023, and all of these games as well are all complete on the cartridge. Currently at retail.
Ding 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 ding. What did I say? All of them. Nintendo was the only one that was doing it in Nintendo Switch, but Nintendo is an evil corporation now.
There should be 15 different third-party Nintendo Switch 2 games, and only two of them are fully complete on the cartridge. The rest of them are codes and boxes or game key releases. What is going on here? Now, I don't own a physical edition of Persona 3 Reload. I've been waiting to pick one up for a while. Also just been kind of hoping that it would come to Switch 2 so I could buy a physical edition. I have it digitally on Xbox, which I got because I worked on the video review for Pure Xbox. I don't know if you ever saw that review, but I never needed to buy a copy because I had that digital release. Thanks to the internet, I found out that the Xbox version of Persona 3 Reload contains the original Xbox One version of the game, and if you play it on an Xbox Series X, you can still play it that way, but in order to get the better graphical enhancements, you need to download an update. So you still at least have some kind of game on the cartridge there. And I believe from what I read that the PlayStation 4 version and the PS5 versions of the game have the respective versions on the disc. Now, of course, you're still missing the day one updates, you don't have the DLC, the answer, but you have the game on the disc. You have something you can actually play. Helldivers 2, I'm less fussed about that because it's an online only game anyways. Even if the servers ever go down someday, I wasn't expecting to still be able to play this. But with something like Persona, with
funny, but then people wanted the crew to play for some reason, even though they was always online as well. Go figure.
with Tunic, with Immortals of Avium, with Astrobot, I want to be able to still play those games. I want to have the option. Now you have companies out there like Square Enix that have confirmed that Octopath Traveler 0 and Dragon Quest HD 2D 1 and 2 are both coming out as game key releases on Nintendo Switch 2. And they actually don't even offer upgrade packs for those games if you buy the Switch 1 version, because that was another potential option that I've been considering, is buying the physical edition for Switch 1 and then just getting the upgrade pack. But for games like that, the remaster for Final Fantasy Tactics, I imagine that's going to be a similar thing. Maybe it's already been confirmed. It feels ridiculous to say this, but video games are a work of art, and they shouldn't have to be rushed to hit retail. They should be respected and delivered in a proper package that the customer feels good about purchasing. That's why
You're correct, but that entails that the customer or consumers don't act stupid to be a customer. I'm happy you use the right word in the context of being customer.
Not purchased any other physical Switch 2 games because almost all of them are game keys. I probably would have got Bravely Default and traded in my 3DS copy, but nope. Now Sega at least seems to be taking some steps in the right direction. When they released Sonic X Shadow Generations and Puyo Puyo Tetris S2 on Switch 2, they didn't offer any upgrade packs, and they still to this day don't, even though those games had original Switch 1 versions. But Yakuza Kiwami, which was just announced in the latest Nintendo Direct, is coming to Switch 2, and we don't know how much it's going to be yet, either with a pack or just some kind of additional purchase, so that way you can get the enhancements of the Switch 2 version if you bought that original Switch 1 version. It seems like they're listening. So what can we do about this beyond just not purchasing game key releases? It's important to speak with your wallet, and that's what I'm trying to do as well here, but that doesn't really feel like enough. I think that's why
That's the only way you get to them. Speak with your wallet.
I'm making this video now, in hopes that someone at Sega and Atlus will hear this and will hear the pleas of others So now, I'm not urging you to send emails and send physical letters, but if you feel strongly about it, if you have the energy, reach out and let Sega know. Let Square Enix, let all of these third-party publishers and developers that are releasing Game Key releases, let them know how important it is for you to have a full, playable, complete package on the cartridge. You'd think that they'd be able to hear the pleas of everyone on the internet, but remember, sometimes we live in a bubble. And it's hard to tell sometimes how far our words can actually reach outside of that bubble. Sega, Square Enix, Capcom, you have to future-proof these things that you claim to love so much. Because if you don't, you're going to lose a lot of longtime fans, your customers, in the process. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Western side of Sega decides to release a full-on physical edition of Persona 3 Reload on Switch 2 with all of the content. Maybe even a beefier one that has the DLC, The Answer on it. I'll pay extra for it. I don't care. But I won't pay...
Exactly. Pay extra. So would I.
For a game key card. So get out there and let them know. Burn your dread. You know?
Self-explanatory. So, I'll just leave it at that. Remember, there's no perfect games out there. It's perfect to you, it's not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect to you. Simply enjoy games on all consoles, including PC and mobile devices.